dream moving into another dimension, the hunted halls of Evening Star, and a violet predator on the prowl. Hey everyone, I'm Ashlen with MMO Play, and I'm bringing you all that and more this week on MMO News. Players can now dreamweave their way into Rift's Update 2.6, a golden age of dimensions. This update is bursting with content. We've got a new trade skill, 15 new dimensions, unstable artifact sets, the first phases of the Air Saga storyline, and more. The Dreamweaver trade skills allows players to craft keys for the new dimensions, as well as water, sparkle, smoke, and special items. Players can explore unstable zones to find artifacts and epic rewards, like the new planar squirrel mounts. On top of that, players will now get to relive the storyline leading up to the exodus of the Storm Queen, where they will hunt down the Queen of the Air. Another feature that goes live with the Dreamweaver update is the bounty system. As players collect new artifacts, they can trade in complete sets to earn bounty hunter achievements, granting titles, animal calls, dimension trophies, cloaks, and access to a vendor selling some special new potions. For more information about the game, you can find a link in the description below. Repels has opened up its public testing server in order to test its latest expansion. From now until February 18th, players will get to test out all sorts of new content, as well as new features that will be making their way into the Prelude expansion. Over 24 new daily quests will be available to test out, as well as new dungeon difficulty levels. The pet system also received a little love. Have a favorite boss? Well, you might just get to take it home with you, now that 36 of them can be tamed using special soul taming cards. Several classes also received either a complete overhaul or some tweaking. Because the testing period is so short, the public testing server will have increased XP, rupee, and item drop rates, so that players can test out all the new content. Players are always encouraged to suggest improvements in order to better improve the game before its final release. Earlier this week, EA announced that they will be shutting down Lord of Ultima. Lord of Ultima was perfect for players who wanted to build cities and armies while fighting for power. It had a much slower pacing and required a lot of strategy, making it less casual player friendly. EA assured players that the race for the final lords will continue, however, until the closing date, so if you're already on your way to the end game, you still have your chance to become one of Caledonia's final victors. Lord of Ultima will run for about 3 more months in order to let fans complete their goals and say their final farewells. Servers will officially be shut down on May 12th. Dungeons & Dragons Online celebrates 40 years of pen and paper tabletop glory in its latest update, the Legendary Halls. Turbine has teamed up with Ed Greenwood, one of the cornerstones for the D&D franchise that Gyjax and Dave Arneson created. His mind is responsible for the creation of the Forgotten Realms, so who better to turn to for advice for a milestone anniversary? That's right, Turbine and Greenwood have teamed up to bring players an online version of the classic 1992 Haunted Halls of Evening Star module. The Legendary Halls will feature 2 versions of the dungeon, one that will mimic the original, and a special extended version that features Greenwood's personal, unedited, and unpublished version of the adventure. The Haunted Halls will be one of the biggest adventures added to the game to date. Developers boast that it will be around 3 times the size of a standard campaign. Players are expected to finish it over a series of nights instead of in just one go. With a difficulty level of CR 28, the Haunted Halls, as well as the rest of the update, are meant to challenge the most experienced veteran players out there. A new type of multiplayer will be arriving in Arma 3 in the form of a free DLC called Zeus. Players get to assume the role of a game master while creating unique experiences for other Arma 3 players. The Zeus DLC comes with a real-time editor that allows players to manipulate or expand multiplayer scenarios on the fly. And if playing God isn't really your thing, you can head into battle and engage in a new, dynamic, and spontaneous type of combat. With the new feature, players will have to be able to adapt quickly on the evolving battlefield in order to complete objectives. Players can revisit and play familiar modes like co-op, team deathmatch, and sector control in a completely new and exciting way. And on top of that, the Zeus multiplayer also works with custom player-created scenarios as well. Path of the Exile's countdown for Sacrifice of the Vol has begun. GameSpot's Hyper Magazines and PC Power Play's PC Game of the Year for 2013 is on a roll. They've wasted no time in providing new content with its latest roll of patches. And now, Grinding Gear Games has announced its latest creation, Update 1.1.0. Don't be fooled by the name though, this quote-unquote update is going to be so big that it's being considered a mini expansion. On a Friday, the countdown for its release, as well as the theme and name, were posted on the site. In Sacrifice of the Vol, players will have to go up against Queen of Ziri and the Vol corruption she spread throughout the land. The teaser also mentions that in order to defeat Edziri, players are going to have to sacrifice, but what that is we won't find out until the game's release on March 5th. Grinding Gear Games hasn't left us out to dry though. On February 20th and 28th, more information about Sacrifice of the Vol will be released along with screenshots and a brand new gameplay trailer. Carol Ferris, the Violet Light of Love, will be making her way into Infinite Crisis by the end of the month. As Keeper of the Savage Predator, Star Sapphire excels at preying on hateful hearts through long-range damage. Her passive, Glimpse of the Predator, sends her incorporeal predator dashing between targets whenever she uses a skill. The dash deals power damage to every target hit this way, and if the predator is attached to Star Sapphire, she gains movement speed. Her first skill, Crystal Bomb, creates a crystal at a target location. When placed, the predator dashes to the crystal, which then explodes once it reaches it, dealing AoE power damage. Violet Harvest deals power damage around the predator and then dashes back and attaches it to her. Star Sapphire gains bonus power damage for each champion struck. Bonds of Love is a skill shot which can hit her predator or her enemies. After hitting the first target, the shot bounces to the nearest second target and links the two. Enemies hit take immediate power damage and ongoing power damage until the bond is gone. Targets can break their bond by moving far away from each other, but activating the skill a second time pulls the linked targets closer to each other. Her ultimate is Manifest. Once activated, the Predator manifests and enters battle under Star Sapphire's control for an extended length of time, and will briefly root all nearby enemies. After that, it will auto-attack any nearby enemies. You can reactivate Manifest to give the Predator movement and attack commands. While manifested, the Predator will still dash when she uses her skills. Star Sapphire's skills have great synergy, but may take some time to get used to. Alright guys, that's it for this week's MMO update. Thanks for stopping by. As always, remember to like, follow, and subscribe for all the latest information. Again, I'm Ashlen, and I will see you next week. But until then, keep on gaming.